Good evening and welcome to the Championship Review. We are now on to match day 12. As I say, everything's now hotting up in the promotion race between, looking at the top of the table, between Coventry, who play against Watford on Saturday, as well as Middlesbrough at home to Wrexham, Millwall against Leicester City, and also talk about the news relief about Sheffield Wednesday. And don't have Delton Chancery anymore. That era is done, but they're now in administration. We'll talk about their game against Oxford, and also could Bristol make it 3 wins on the bounce after they play against Bristol City as well, and also over other pressures like Liam Manning and Will Still. Did they get wins over the weekends? We'll discuss all over this weekend with all the fixed results as well. Joining us, the usual subjects is Michael and Annie. Good evening to you both.
You did the Liam Manning thing there, didn't you, and called Bristol City Bristol, which I noticed it in the EFL highlight show. So
yeah, I know.
Carl's got the big old fishing rod out already, so I can see.
There's a little bot to leave out the way he said it. So to be quite honest with you, you'd think.
Yeah, it is. Well, me and Annie had a bit good old long 10-minute discussion about this last week, didn't we? After we stopped recording, you just think, well, yeah, that's a bit disrespectful, mate, considering Bristol City literally gave you the platform to be a Championship manager. But there you go. But I'm not doing too bad, as you can. Nothing totally to do with something that happened at Stamford Bridge yesterday, but that's not this show. That's for the 20. So I'm not doing too bad. How are you doing?
Not too bad. I'm looking forward to the last 12 hours of being unemployed as I'm starting work at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Yeah, how are you feeling about that?
A little bit nervous, actually. I'm not going to lie. I'm a bit nervous, yeah.
Relatable. I'm sure you'll smash it, my friend. I'm sure you'll smash it.
Listen, when you're not being in work for nearly over 3 years, you realise after you've been through so much tribulations and stuff like I have been for the last 3 years, it kind of realise thinking sometimes, life is short, and to be quite honest with you, I know with my personal stuff as well, you guys know personally what's been happening personally behind the scenes with everything, but as I wanted to do this right for me and just have a life that I want to have going forward till the day I bloody die. So that's more important.
Yeah. Well, you can tell me about it on Saturday when we go to Hearts versus Dundee.
Yeah, I know.
I'm looking forward to that. That should be pretty good.
It's been a good weekend for me altogether, not just Leeds winning, but bloody Hearts beating Celtic without 8 points clear. Yeah. So
imagine if you said that to Rangers fans, they go, "Oh, the year Celtic's not going to win the league. Oh, surely we do it." No, Hearts do it.
Yeah, well, lucky Daniel got his first win after the shambolic performance against Brad in the Europa League. He got his first win against Kilmarnock today as well. So
much needed. Anyway, Annie, how are you doing?
I am fine. Yeah, just got back from Bristol. Bit of a trek, but yeah,
worth it to see your team win 1-0.
Lovely defensive masterclass of a performance. We'll talk all about that. We'll talk all about the Championship as well. So yeah, can't wait to get my teeth stuck into this.
Just think, all 3 of our teams win this weekend. So there you go. Enjoy it. Hi. Well, especially will be with us. Well, we weren't expected to, but we'll go on with that. Sorry, Carl, go on.
No, let you guys carry on. I was just, it was interesting to chat how our teams won, all 3 teams win this season. It's not very rare, especially when you guys beat Chelsea yesterday at their ground. Now.
Yeah, as you can tell by the smile, I'm still like a giddy 9-year-old schoolboy who's found out his pack of favourite sweets has been delivered for him.
I'm looking forward to your review tomorrow.
I'll make sure you have to remind me. I will make sure to send the clip. Yeah. Well, let's just say, Annie. Well, let's just say that Annie, like, when I first came on here, I just basically played the Champions League theme on my phone and just drank a can of Pepsi and just drinking it in and going, can't wait to play Barcelona next season.
I know you don't drink alcohol back, but I wish you had something stronger to like to pretend. Is this real?
What was that?
Yeah.
No, to be fair, like I've said, to not make this to get onto the Championship in a minute, but yeah, look, I did say to Carl, look, I know we are not going to finish where we are, but with all due respect, I have watched so much shite over the last 10 years or so. I am going to enjoy this. So, and these two are going to give me false hope that it's going to happen. That it could happen. So,
well, you never know. As I said, it's the Premier League. Anything can happen, especially what's happened to Liverpool recently. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, let's be honest. If someone said to you at the end of October, Sunderland's going to be above Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, Man United, maybe Man United, but still potentially Liverpool, I'd be like. Right, either Liverpool are having a really horrendous season or you're on crack cocaine. I can't decide which one.
Title charge, Michael. Title charge.
Oh, don't get me started on that. Is that the commentary that was on? Was it this Everton Spurs game? They actually said Everton go to title chasing Sunderland or something. I'm like,
yeah, I heard it.
What parallel universe is this that we're even described in that sentence?
Hey, listen, you've just gone away to a fellow competitor for the title, and ticked off another 3 points.
And you don't get my hopes up. Apparently, we have more points at this stage than when Leicester won the Premier League. But yeah, we've just got to
There you
beat
go.
Arsenal in order to have a chance. We'll see. We'll see.
Can't be that difficult, surely.
And fair play.
It was
fair
for us.
play.
We lost them 5-0, mate, in the second game of the season. So I would have.
I'm expecting diddly squat against Arsenal. Everton's not an easy game either. So, I know they lost 3-0 today, but that way it is top.
It's only going to be the 4-0 win then for you guys.
What, 4-0 Sunderland? Jesus Christ. Yeah. Well, if we beat Everton and we get to 20 points, I'll be going, right, we're halfway towards safety. Yes, that's still the way I'm thinking about it.
40 points will be 14th.
Well, the way West Ham and Wolves are going at the minute, it could be.
Yeah.
They've looked in real trouble. But
35, maybe.
Well, everyone watching this, go and watch the 20 tomorrow. Either tomorrow or Tuesday, whenever it is.
We'll be streamed on Tuesday. We record it tomorrow night, so I need to
watch on Tuesday.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Do you know what? Let's delve into all these fixtures for the weekend. Let's start with Friday night's game, actually, at Deepdale. And I have to say, Sheffield United, winning. They were cruising 2-1 by half time. A goal from Andre Brooks and Callum O'Hare scored. And then what a comeback for Paul Heckenbottom gets his old club. Preston winning 3-2. Lewis Dobbins scored. Tanganga scored an own goal. And Johnny Jefferson, got the win in the 58th minute. Guys, do we see Sheffield United not going to be getting to the top half of the table now? Especially, it's been a bit of a mixed start for Chris Wilder returning in his first spell at the club.
Yeah, it's to be fair to Sheffield United, they had won their previous 2 games, hadn't they? Beaten Watford and beaten Blackburn, and Blackburn was a massive win. But obviously, how it's worked is we're talking about Blackburn's result. So I'll not spoil it in case someone watching this somehow hasn't seen the results yet. But yeah. With this game, it's a weird one because obviously they got 2 good wins before this, and when I saw they were 2-0 up after 15 minutes, then they were, I mean, from I think it was Ollie from the Sheffield United Way. I watched his video and he said that before they scored the first goal, they had started quite poorly. But again, I was actually out on Friday night, so I didn't actually see. For once, I've got a social life for a change, and I didn't see the game, but obviously I watched bits of it back.
That word social life is right there. Social,
I wonder if it's to do with someone who supports a certain club that's not far where Annie's.
He's not supporting a certain club.
Spoiler, it's not Coventry who he supports, by the way.
He's not supporting a certain club because he's gone on loan to a club in the Premier League. So
yeah, let's just say it's and he's calling himself a proud Mackham now. It's like, oh, I bet you are, mate. But yeah, but having said that, yes. So long story short, I didn't see the game, but I was keeping up with it. And there's no way you can defend throwing away a 2-0 lead, is there? I think, first and foremost, actually, I think that both Sheffield United's goals, Andre Brooks, good, solid, good, timed his run really well, very good finish to go with it. And Callum O'Hare, and he's someone who's not usually known for his goal output. He's someone who's a very technically very good player at this level, but his end product sometimes can be flattered to deceive. But he did really well. It was a really good solo run to feed off scraps, really, to get Sheffield United 2-0 up. And then you're thinking to yourself, right, get half-time 2-0, because that first goal, I bet you probably changed a lot of Paul Heckenbottom's team talk, because all of a sudden, you're well within the game when you've been 2-0 down for about half an hour of the first half. But obviously, look, that happens. Lewis Dobbin, sorry, I could see Dobbin because I've taught Norwich City. No, right, Lewis Dobbin ends up scoring. Yeah, if anyone watches that, you'll know what I mean. But the second goal was, yeah, that kind of sums it up for Sheffield United based on the season compared to their expectations, really. And obviously that was the last thing they needed. What was it, like less than a minute into the second half? It was 2-2. Yeah. And then, of course, the narrative comes out about Daniel Jefferson, who I believe left Sheffield United in the summer.
Yeah.
Was it this summer or last summer that he was released?
A couple of summers ago.
Actually. Okay. Yeah, no, it wasn't last summer. It was a couple of summers
ago.
No,
it was last summer, because I remember it was... he went because we were looking at him, I think, when he left Sheffield United, but it was because he went to Bournemouth, I think it was, then went back out on loan. It might have been Burton last season, I cannot remember.
Watford.
Oh, well, yeah, you go. Yeah, cheers for correcting us. But I think, and then obviously this year, he goes on loan to Preston from Bournemouth. So, of course, it's Daniel Jefferson who gets the winner against his former club. From Preston's point of view, fantastic comeback to come back from 2-0 down. And that's now 3 parachute teams they've beaten in a row at Deepdale now. So you've got to really give Paul Heckenbottom, for me, maybe I'm being a bit early in saying this, could be an unsung shout for one of the best jobs of the season so far, given what Preston have had to go through in the summer in terms of a little bit of, not overhaul, but some key changes having to be made.
Pretty much what we actually predicted, most of us predicted in the relegation battle, and then turns out,
Hecky, well done. You've made us all look like complete tits.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? Fair play to you. And yeah, but from Sheffield United's point of view, there's just no way you should be throwing that away. If you throw away a 2-0 lead, you at least come away with a bloody point, don't you? And actually, even if they'd drawn the game, it still would have been it's still been a decent week, but it could have been a very good week to get something on the road, where Preston in general at home have largely been very good, and it just would have just kind of not halted Sheffield United's momentum a bit. Now, don't get us wrong. There is a long way to go, and I still stand by that long term. I will be very astonished if Sheffield United are anywhere near the relegation zone, providing they're competent enough. But yeah, from Preston's win, fantastic win from Preston in the circumstances, but equally as comically bad from Sheffield United to throw away a 2-0 lead like that.
Yeah, very much they do. Complete throwaway. Annie, what's your take on this briefly?
I wouldn't call it a collapse, even though it was 2-0, 3-2, because it felt like a weird sort of 15 minutes that killed Sheffield United, and a bad 15-minute spell in the game will not always lead to 3 goals from the opposition. I agree with Michael. Preston very good at home. Will repeat the same things. Hard to beat. They're just a very, very sort of streetwise championship side, and Sheffield United sort of got caught by that. The ending to this game, absolutely crazy. Samare misses a golden opportunity for 3-3.
Yeah, they have a good few chances, Sheffield United, don't they?
From a corner, and then literally right up the other end, like 30 seconds later, Michael Smith misses pretty much an open net, which would have sealed the game as well. So, towards the end, Preston, they're just very good at home. If they're in a game, they'll probably get something from it. And particularly at Deepdale. So, yeah, they're very sturdy. They're very good. Sheffield United still got a little bit of fragility in them, but this was a bit of a weird one where, but just a bad 15-minute spell caused their demise.
Absolutely, yeah, it was their demise over the result this past week. And let's look on to some Saturday lunchtime games. And let's start off at Coventry City. What a win, winning 3-1 against Watford. And they had a very... Watford, yeah. Whatever. They had
I've got a social life, soz. Oh, I wonder why, mate.
Yeah, we know. If that's on United, I would have messaged you and he said, but
I'd be interested if he was going to come on if Leicester had won and Coventry had lost. Put it that way.
Yeah, that's a fair point, actually. Yeah,
although probably not. He is quite sick of Leicester at the minute. To be fair to him.
Well, we know we have to deal with that with him. So we have a miserable Leicester City fan at the moment. But like I said, Coventry stay unbeaten as well. What a good first half. What a collapse from Watford in the first half as well, completely. And Asante scores in the 3rd minute, and then Josh scores in the 7th minute, and then Sakamoto scores before half time, and then Watford went down to 10 men. Where Akabana Kawa was sent off in the 44th minute, but they got consolation late in the game. But that was a total collapse, Watford style, wasn't it?
Can I say before Andy talks though, like Carl Rushworth kept Coventry in the game in the first couple of minutes because Watford had a fantastic chance not long before Asante scored.
Yeah, the Blackburn did as well, didn't they, before Coventry went 2-0 up. So Rushworth has made a couple of key saves in a couple of key games and, well, a couple of key moments. So, it helps having one of the best goalkeepers in the league, doesn't it? When you're already scoring goals for fun. What can we say about Coventry? I mean, probably the second home game running where they haven't particularly played well, and considering they weren't particularly great. Oh, bosh, 3-0 up at half time.
Yeah.
What? I mean, what? How? And second half, I mean, Watford were pretty decent. They created some good opportunities, which if they take one of them at 3-2, you're kind of going, does that sort of neutralise the man advantage? I don't know. Coventry sit a bit deeper, then you might have a chance. But no, still good win for Cov, and not one of their better performances of the season. But they won't care one bit, will they? They're 5 points clear. It's another win on the board, and again, you won't play well most weeks. But if you're not playing well and scoring 3 goals, who frankly cares? So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, look at the stat here, guys. I'm not gonna lie. This is before they played against Watford. They're ranked first in the points, ranked first in the defeats, ranked first in the goals with 31 goals, ranked first in the shots, 192 shots, ranked first in the shots on target, 66, ranked first on the expected goal XG goals, 26.06, ranked first on the clean sheets, and ranked first XG against 9.43. That is phenomenal before start.
basically they're very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the short version of it, really. I could be wrong on this. I think this is ESPN, so blame ESPN if this is wrong. But I wanted to check their scoring stats, as in for individual players, I mean. Because Coventry have got, I think it's 34 goals, I think, in 12 games, which is, you're basically averaging 3 goals a game, roughly, or just under 3 goals a game. But I'm looking at this, so straight away, the top 3 goal scorers combined, by the way, have got 22 goals between them.
Yeah.
You got Thomas Asante, who's got 8 goals. Hadji Wright exactly the same, and Victor.
Asante actually got 9 actually for what I'm seeing the BBC. Blame ESPN.
Right, ESPN, you're wrong. Then you're lying.
Yeah, Asante's got 9 goals. Hadjirat's got 8, and Victor Top's got 6.
But there you go. That's the better example. And one of the things we've said about Coventry is not just for the fact when I watch them against Leicester, they are able to balance when they're not playing like free flowing. They're able to do the ugly side of the game. And we remember they're actually still pretty good defensively as well. That's another thing that probably goes under the radar about Coventry. But at the same time, if say Thomas Asante is not on fire, no problem. Victor Top or Hadji Wright will go and score. Or you'll just have a few different players. Really, I mean, I think I saw, they'll have a few different players that can chip in all over the pitch. And particularly if you're an opposition manager or an opposition team, how the hell do you defend against Coventry? Because if you try to mark Thomas Asante out of the game, no problem. Hadji Wright's got more space. Or if you mark him out of the game, Victor Torp's got more space to work with. Or if you try to mark all them really well, oh no, you've got Sakamoto and Mason Clark on either flank as well. Oh, Jack Radon needs to come back in. And as you two have heard me say countless times, I rate Coventry's squad very highly for championship level. I think it's really, really good. And I think now, like I've said, I think Annie's heard me say, I think I said this last week to Annie, that I think Frank Lampard's starting to get a bit more respect that I think in manager he actually deserves. Personally, I've never understood the negativity around him, but you know what? And I looked this up. Coventry have got the exact same amount of points after the exact same amount of games as Sunderland did last season. After 12 games, both Sunderland last season and Coventry this season were on 28 points. So long story short, if it follows the same pattern, congratulations Coventry on winning the Sky Bet playoffs in the Championship. So one way or another, as Annie will go up the Cov. Maybe Cov could be in the Premier League next season, but there's a long way to go. There needs to be room. Sorry, go on.
Upper Cov. Sorry.
Yeah. This is where, if Ant was here, this is where he comes in with some six fingers comment, knowing him. But,
we know him quite well, yeah.
We know him well enough. We know him well enough, don't we? So, but all joking aside, I mean, you can't fault them. Like the top goal scorers in the league, but I think it's not even close, is it? It's by some distance.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show you what belief and confidence can do. And what helped is that Coventry didn't have that much upheaval in the summer, did they? It was pretty much minimal, their business, and that's a good thing because it keeps the similar sort of core there. You don't need to have the same bedding in period that you would have done with a lot of new signings more times than not. And I think they're just a joy to watch. I think Coventry just look like they really believe in what they're doing, and you can tell how there seems to be a real camaraderie there, doesn't there? And I think that's a really big obstacle that they will have overcome, because obviously there would have been discontentment after the way they started the last couple of seasons. But yeah, I mean, like you said, you're running out of things to say about Coventry. Like I said, I remember last season saying that I thought the points gap at the top wouldn't be quite as good. It turns out it was better because Leeds and Burnley got 100 points. This time, with how the parachute teams have started, there's a genuine case that 90 points could be enough for automatics this year, I think. Because you're effectively going 12 games in, you're a quarter of the way through the season now, aren't you? So 28 points. Yeah, I mean, just over half. Well, actually, no. You're probably nearly a third of the way in 90 points. So
third of the way now, yeah.
Yeah. So Coventry will have a dip at some point because every club has it. Every club has one. But I've said this to a couple of Coventry mates of mine, that what you need to do is when you have a dip, it can last no longer than 3-4 games at very most. And you get back onto winning ways again. But I think, so it will happen, but what they're doing is that, and in fact, if I look at this right in the table, so either of you correct me on this if this is wrong, So I'll just quickly check this, but I'm pretty sure that I'm right. In fact, no, I'm checking the table, so I know it should be right. Coventry, just as a frame of reference for the Year 1 parachute teams, as an example, Coventry are 11 points above Leicester, 12 points above Ipswich, and they are 16 points above Southampton. Imagine if you said that to a Coventry fan at the start of the season.
They would have laughed it off completely, to
Yeah.
yeah.
Or another one, 19 points above Sheffield United. Again, they would have laughed you. They would have thought you were on some sort of illegal substances if you're selling them that back in July or August or whenever it is. So, yeah, I mean, there's not much more to say. I think Coventry have just been started superbly, and to be the only EFL side left unbeaten. I think.
Yep, they are the only EFL side left unbeaten now.
Yeah, so Frank Lampard, fair. And it's not like they've had easy games either. They've had to really win games in a lot of difficult ways. So they're at the point now where if you get a target 90 points, what's that, 62 points more that they need across 34 games? Who's to say they can't do it?
Yeah, I know. Like I say, it's gonna be an interesting season for the Sky Blues if they continues this run of form, especially with the other club, the parachute clubs that have really struggled. I'm going to go to speak to one of the parachute clubs and it's to see what Ipswich Town, getting the late win, 1-0 win against West Brom. West Brom didn't do much in the game, but but Jack Clark scored the winner in the 80th minute. Kieran McKennan's substitution paid off, and like I said. This was a tough week. It's been a tough week for Ipswich because they lost early in the week, to Charlton in the midweek, and they needed to bounce back with a win, and they finally got the win just about. But wasn't much, they had chances at Ipswich, but they could have scored 2 or 3. But was that a wasted opportunity to get more than one goal this part yesterday?
I don't know, wasted opportunity. It felt a bit stodgy. From what I've seen, I didn't watch the game obviously, but it looked like they were kind of plundering, and maybe the substitutes bench has won it for them. Obviously, a couple of injuries during the game hasn't helped them. Sammy Smodics went off injured. I think Chuba Akpom potentially went off injured, and that kind of forced McKenna's hand into putting Nunes into that number 10 position. Maybe that's what Ipswich need. Maybe they need a little bit of a different profile of 10, because if you think about Akpom and Smodics, they're both, sort of goal scorers running in from deep, getting into the box and getting on the end of stuff. Nunes is a bit more of a creative outlet, and maybe when Kiosta's not there, having Nunes as a 10 might be the right call. Obviously, it's a good win for Ipswich. It's such a needed win, but yeah, it's not fully clicking. Again, that's the same thing we're saying about Ipswich. It felt like after they won the derby against Norwich, we were like, okay, now we're going to see Ipswich will really motor on, really kick on. Hasn't really happened, and they've had a couple of really disappointing results. Sort of outdone at Borough and deservedly beaten, and then completely Nathan Jones against Charlton. They need a little bit more. They need a consistent run, a few ugly wins, maybe a few of these home wins like this. We need to see more from Ipswich, because I genuinely feel if they get going, they're going to be really, really difficult to stop. Like, just have to look at their bench. If the fact that their bench is already winning them games, so Jack Clark's already scored, 50 goals off the bench already. Like, it just shows that already sort of accessing parts of that team which we know are high in quality. So yeah, if that gets going, they'll be really good. Just quickly, on the flip side, West Brom, I'm a little bit sort of concerned about Ryan Mason. I don't know if that's harsh or not, because the form recently hasn't been great. They've not won many games. They lost at Millwall quite heavily recently, if I remember. They got a good win at Norwich. Yep. Okay, fine. Everyone's winning at Norwich, but fine, good win. And I think they're in relegation form over the last 9 games or 8 games or something like that. So they're under 1 point per game, definitely, over one of those sample periods. So yeah, I need to see more from Mason. And it's not exactly like West Brom. If you told me to describe West Brom's play style or what Ryan Mason's trying to do, I couldn't, because I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to do. Is it passing football? Is it you've got two two big, sturdy centre-backs, Nat Phillips and Chris Metham, trying to use them and be solid defensively. I don't actually know. Is it using the wingers and Johnston and Illing Jr. and Isaac Price and Hegbo and Madger and DK? Is it that? I don't know. Is it using Mowat in midfield and using him as an anchor? It's a good West Brom team in there. I think it needs direction, and we know Corberan got that team doing very well. It was a mid-season switch to Tony Mowbray, and he trying to make them more expansive. That didn't work. Maybe with a pre-season that would have worked. I don't know. Maybe Ryan Mason's trying to be adaptable and flexible, and if so, absolutely fine, no worries. But I need to also see what are the things you're good at, West Brom? What are the things that make West Brom hard to beat, hard to play against, and a nuisance? And I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I feel a bit concerned with that one, especially the way they are at the moment. They've had 5 wins, 2 draws, and 5 losses. So they're still, even though they're looking at we'll see the table later on, but like I said, they're still not too far from the playoff spots.
Yeah, they're only 2 points off it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just quickly on the game, I think that Ipswich definitely were the better team, and definitely it struck me as they were, because I did watch the game actually. I watched most of it, and I think Ipswich it was one of those typical huff and puffs where you try to get the opening goal, it just not quite falling for you in the final third and whatnot. But like Annie said before, I think when you're looking at, and this is again why I keep saying the strength of a parachute team financially, you can have players on the bench such as the likes of Jack Clark, Chuba Akpom, Jacob Greaves, Kelsey McAtee, Marcelino Nunes, Ashley Young. You can have a host of attacking talent on the bench. But yeah, good for Clark from a selfish point of view. Really good to see Jack Clark actually start to get used correctly. But again, I've said before, this is how freakish their depth is. Where Philogene not having a great game, no problem. Jack Clark comes on, and that's just you just think how on earth do you compete with that if you're a non-parachute club, really? So I think. But yeah, no, I think from Ipswich, I agree with Annie. I think with Ipswich, I want to see more from them. I want to see more of the. Yeah, I want to see them live up their potential a bit more, because obviously they lost to Middlesbrough as well prior to losing to Charlton. And Middlesbrough away, fair enough. I think that's not a disgraceful result by any means. And obviously I'm not going to say Charlton's disgraceful, because that's disrespectful to Charlton, because that's a great win for Charlton Athletic. But yeah, it's a game if you're Ipswich, you need to be winning, isn't it? So I think it's good to respond with a win. But yeah, I think for what we expect from Ipswich, it's a bit more is needed. Like before the international break, they've got trips to QPR and Swansea, and in between that is a home game against Watford. So this is where we need to see them really put a good run. I agree with Annie. I think they need to put a good run together, even if it's a solid run of 5 games unbeaten with 3 wins, 2 draws, something like that, just to build a bit of momentum, I think.
Yeah, absolutely as well. Let's move on to the last of the 3 lunchtime kickoffs. Probably was, it was actually. I'll say Portsmouth are going in 1 win from 8 now. Now under John Mousinho after losing to Stoke 1-0 through an own goal by Hayden Matthews. Unfortunately, he got injured in the process when he considered that's Stoke's first away win in over 2 months, keeping them in the Championship playoffs. And Michael, is this a bit of a worry time for Pompey now? 1 win in 8 now. It's been challenging for them.
It has. It's weird saying this about Portsmouth, because last season it was pretty much the other way around from what I can remember, where their home form was pretty exceptional for a promoted side from League One, and their away form obviously probably left a little bit to be desired. And I remember last season, what was it, the top 4 in the Championship? It was only Sunderland who won at Fratton Park. So I think it's quite. It is a little concerning with their home form, but I think John Mousinho will know that. But they've not won many home games this year, have they? I think they beat Preston off the top of my head.
Yeah,
I can't remember if they've beaten anyone else at home. They might have done, to be fair. Oh no, Middlesbrough, of course they did.
As well. Yeah.
So it's
they've lost 4, I think, at home this season.
I know they've lost to Stoke, they lost to Norwich, and I'm trying to remember who else they've lost to.
Lost to Coventry recently as well.
Coventry, Coventry, fair enough. Coventry are right near the top, aren't they? And then
they lost to Ipswich Town. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
that was away.
That was at Bournemouth Road. But yeah. But look, I'm not too worried about Pompey. To be fair, from what I saw in the highlights of this game, there was a couple of really good chances for Portsmouth in the first half that they should have buried. At least one of them was directly at Victor Johansson from a couple of yards out. And you talk about Carl Rushworth being one of the best keepers in the league. Victor Johansson's on just steroids every week. I'm convinced of it. I don't know how on earth that guy manages to keep being so bloody good in goal for Stoke. So he would have been a big part of why Stoke ended up winning this game. But this is also a sign of how well Mark Robbins is doing, where you stay in the game, it's tight, it's 0-0, the keeper bails you out with a couple of really good saves, and okay, the winner was quite fortunate, or misfortunate for Hayden Matthews. It was a really good header, actually. It was just in the back of, obviously in the back of the wrong net, but yeah. So I'm not for Pompey. I'm not too concerned about them personally, but obviously if this carries on into the latter stages of the calendar year, as in into somewhere like December or back end of November, then maybe revisit the conversation then. And yeah, I think you've got to credit again. More and more credit goes to Mark Robbins and the job he's doing at Stoke, which is, and again, and like I've said last week, it was a cultural thing at Stoke that you have to try and turn that round. So yeah, if you can win a game like that, this is where I keep saying clean sheets are so important. If you can be tight at the back, be solid, then all it takes is one moment like that to win you a game of football. And on the road, I don't think Stoke fans will complain with that whatsoever.
No, absolutely not. Annie, your perspective on it? If briefly, don't worry if you can't.
No, I was just going to say Pompey.
Apologies about stalling everything.
No, I was just going to say Pompey. I wouldn't be concerned either. Mousinho's a very, very good operator at Championship level. He's shown that there won't be any major trouble. Maybe they won't match the lofty expectations of what maybe some people expect them to, but I still think they're a good side. That Murphy's back, which is a massive plus. He needs to use Chaplin better, I think. And now he's got Yang, Chaplin, Bishop, Murphy. Is that something? And Lang and Callum Lang. So he's got some really good attacking options there, John Mousinho. So if he can use that better, who knows? Pompey is still, I think, a pretty decent side going forward. Yeah, the home form is a bit of a concern.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully.
Clearly, the phone agrees as well.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say as well. Yeah.
Yes, you agree, don't you? Pompey's going to be all right. There you go.
All right. Let's move on to one of the other clubs that's really struggling with their new manager Will Still. Southampton losing 2-1 at Blackburn Rovers. Lee Asensia scored his first goal for the Saints in the 23rd minute, but Ryan Abayosu and also Andrew Good-Johnson got the two late goals for Blackburn to win against in its first home of the season, and that was very huge for Blackburn, especially it's been a poor start for them not winning any home games until yesterday.
Yeah, that felt like a game of two desperate managers who just needed a win somehow. And oh my god, Southampton, so hapless, so hapless. Like, how do you miss so many chances in a game? Have so much of the ball and just can't put the ball in the back of the net. It just, yeah, actually incredible.
Doug's been embracing his inner Reese there.
Yeah.
I think Adam Armstrong has a chance at 1-0.
Yeah, it's a one-on-one chance, pretty much, yeah.
Clean through, and I don't know what happens. I don't know what happens to him, because there's Adam Armstrong at Championship level. Maybe it's, oh my god, I'm 1-on-1. It's against my former club. I'm going to score here, and he just sort of panics a bit, or something. Cameron Archer's on the goal line, and he misses the ball. And it goes sort of. He ends up in the back of the net when the ball doesn't. I don't know what more Will Still actually can do. He can't physically go on the pitch and score. Like he can't. He doesn't have an Xbox controller where he can like navigate Cameron Archer's legs and Adam Armstrong's legs and press the shoot button for. You know what I mean?
Turn to lanky long legs and finish in front of goal.
It's like oh, I do feel a bit bad for Will Still. Like, these are gilt-edged opportunities at the perfect moments. The Leo Cienza, oh, what a finish. What goal. He looked really good against us in midweek. Hit the bar against us. He looks a really good player. Blackburn, yeah, that's a good win. But the first goal, Alex McCarthy. Yes, okay, there's a crowd of bodies in front of him. But also, but it's not exactly like I can't remember who it was. The Blackburn players actually leathered it with his left foot.
He did not leather it. Yeah, tucked it in.
It's kind of like it's kind of trickled along a little bit, and it's a bit like, What? It was just a bizarre goal from the angle at Ewood, and then the second goal was an absolute mess in it. Like that's the sort of goal a team concedes when they're really down on confidence, and just what a hot mess. Honestly, I think we'll still. I think Shay Charles mentioned it after we played Southampton, where he said that the manager's coaching victories, we just can't put the ball in the back of the net. And that's sort of a similar feeling here, because if you don't take your chances, especially at key moments in the Championship, this has especially been profound this season, where teams who score in good moments will win games. Millwall, prime example of that. Middlesbrough, prime example of that. Stoke, to a certain degree, as well. These good teams will score goals at exactly the right moment. Southampton, they can't score goals, and they can't score goals at the right moment. So I'm sure it will click at some point, but will still get enough time for that to happen. I don't know.
Especially when the last name Goodjohnson is actually linked, because Andre Goodjohnson is the son of former Bolton, Chelsea, and Barcelona player Adi Goodjohnson, who scored his first goal for Blackburn, his first goal in England as well. So, yeah.
You're right. I think it's a weird one because this one, I think the thing that would concern me from a Southampton point of view, apart from the fact obviously not finishing Christmas dinners, is more the fact that when it was 1-1, then at the very least you get a point. Even though I know a point for Southampton really wouldn't have been a good result either, to be honest. But at the very least you pick something up on the board, and you don't then go and concede the second one, and
And then get 10 man sent off when Wellington just went into the goal winner, Goodjohnson in the centre.
Yeah.
And the referee was going to send you off, but you blatantly knew you.
Frustration, isn't it? That's probably more or less what it is. But not to mention, it means that Blackburn are now 2 points behind Southampton with a game in hand, albeit against Ipswich. Whenever that's getting replayed, I think it's in the next couple of weeks. Actually,
it's a couple of weeks I think before end of November. I think, yeah,
that would make sense. Yeah, it wouldn't be before it because there's some film around the midweek games. But yeah.
Yeah.
So I think Southampton. I mean, says a lot. If I said to you at the start of the season, Southampton and Sheffield United will be in the bottom 5 of the Championship by the end of October. Not top 5, bottom 5.
Bottom 5, you'd be like,
and you go,
and
are you in mind? Yeah,
and Norwich. Yep, that's true. The only team that's down there that probably. I mean, Blackburn less of a surprise, and obviously Sheffield Wednesday will come on to them in a bit. But yeah, I mean, I can see the Southampton are creating some good opportunities, and that is definitely a help. But I think they need to start. They need to start being quite ugly, to be honest, to some degree. And again, it's a bit similar, kind of similar to Ipswich in some way. That I think you need to just get a couple of wins in a row, because I don't think they've only won twice all season, haven't they? And that one of them was on the opening day against Wrexham. So yeah, for me, I think you need to just get a couple of even ugly wins. Just get a win, then get a draw to follow it or something, then get another win, and then again, just gradually start to build confidence up, because Southampton aren't far from the playoffs. It's a good run of form. Wilster and Manning are under big pressure. I'm surprised Manning is still in the job at the moment. I'm sure Annie's not. But as far as Southampton is concerned, yeah, I think it's. Yeah, so it's a bit concerning at the minute. And the question that Reece will probably be asking is, will Will still be here, or will Will still find a way to actually lose his job, or will Will still actually turn into a really good manager at the Championship level? Goodness knows. But we'll wait and see.
We'll wait and see. And I think Annie's frozen as well. So
and he's clearly that shocked that Southampton don't finish their chances. So,
yeah, very much. Yeah, very much. We'll still get Eddie back on shortly. Let's move on to the game at Pride Park. Derby getting the 1-0 win. Mike against QPR. Captain Match's first game as the captain for Derby County, and that's their second win in 4 days at Pride Park for them. Really a decent performance from Derby. They could have won by 2-3 goals.
Yeah, they could have won by more, couldn't they? They had the chances to certainly do it. But now I'm right thinking they hadn't won at Pride Park before this week, had they?
No.
And then Annie's going to go classic Liam Manning, play your opponents into their first home win. I am very much sure of that. But I don't know if Annie's mic's on, by the way, or if his sound's on.
He's fine. He's on mute.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Oh, he's on mute. Okay, right. I didn't know there was something that was going wrong there. But yeah, no, from Derby's perspective, a very much welcome back-to-back home wins. And yeah, again with Derby, I think Derby came into the season with quite a bit of hype and anticipation, didn't they? And obviously hasn't quite delivered yet. But like I said, John Eustace is a good manager. We've seen what he's done last year at two different clubs and done two really great jobs. So, yeah, I think if you're Derby, you're playing now Norwich, who are really bang out of form at the moment, low on confidence, and then QPR, who are... And actually, I think this is a pretty good win, actually, because QPR have started the season really well. So, I think... And obviously, Carlton Morris, of course, has got a goal, and I said in the summer, Carlton Morris will be one of the better signings, more underrated signing of the season for Derby. So, yeah, I think hopefully for... And I agree with Doug, Carlton Morris, yep, he will absolutely get goals for Derby at Championship level. I don't think did he get double figures in the Premier League with Luton, Carlton Morris?
That's a good.
He either did,
I think he got 11.
or he came
I think
close
he
to it.
did actually.
I think
Yeah,
he got 11 goals for
11
Luton.
goals.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was sure that he did. Yeah, so exactly. So I'm amazed more clubs haven't been in for him, to be honest. But hey, everyone else's losses, Derby County's gain. So yeah, but for Derby, I want to see them start rising up the league now, because I think they'll, they don't want to be having a repeat of last season of having to scrape survival, do they?
You know what we said about Ipswich and Southampton, of a couple of ugly home wins, 1-0s.
Yeah, Derby have done just that. Yeah,
Derby, yeah, exactly that. They were
that's
not
what you
great.
need.
Weren't great against Norwich, especially first half. Got booed off. Second half much better, and then this was a very decent performance. Minimised QPR to very little. Richard Coney has a big chance for a header, but apart from that, Brendan Diaz hits the post. They look good from sort of wide positions, getting the balls into the box, and yep, got Carlton Morrison there, and they're getting players back. Derby as well, and they've still got more players to come back, like Rian Brewster comes to mind immediately. One big negative will be Max Johnson, who ran off injured, their right back, who has been pretty decent, very decent for Derby so far this season. Looks like a good signing. So that'll be a concern for Eustace. But
it will
God,
also be concerned for Scotland as well if he misses out in the next two games as well, because that he's been partial on that Steve Clark's team as well. So
yeah, but for Derby, I suppose they've got Niambe to come in, right back. So complete sort of disastrous position. But yeah, good win for Derby. Couple of ugly home wins, and now they've got to kick on.
yeah, they certainly do as well. We've got a couple of games left to finish off. We'll get to Annie's game in the last part of the show soon as well. Move on to the MKM Stadium. Charlton got a late equaliser through Luke Berry in the 90th first minute after Joe Gerhardt scored his third goal in the third consecutive game. I think with me as a Leeds fan, I think Leeds Gerhardt's getting a bit of form and playing alongside Carl Joseph. He's one of the two main players up front.
I don't mind Gallagher. He's a decent player.
He's a decent player, and I just didn't think he was ever going to work out with Leeds towards the end, especially the players that select ahead of him in his development. I think he's more better suited in the Championship, and I think being at Hull since January altogether, I think it's helped him a lot, with his development, because I think he would be a good prospect for Hull if they do want to keep him permanently beyond the season.
Yeah, no, it's a really good finish actually as well. Really composed. I think Gerhardt's problem's been like he often was viewed as a striker certainly when he was on loan at Sunderland, I think he was signed originally to play off Ross Stewart, but then Ross Stewart got injured.
Yeah.
So, obviously he suffered on that sort of perspective. But yeah, I don't mind Gerhardt. I think he's an absolute workhorse. He's a nightmare to play against. But yeah, I mean, I think before we got into the Charlton bit, yeah, I think with Hull, obviously, of course, when you go 1-0 up and you don't hold on until the 90th minute, you're, of course, absolutely disappointed. You're absolutely disappointed with that in sense. But, to be fair to Hull, I mean, they won 3-2 at Birmingham. They've had in fact, both Hull and Charlton have had really good weeks. They've both got 7 points across the last 3 match days. Obviously, Hull beat Birmingham and Leicester while drawing yesterday. And then from Charlton's point of view, Charlton have had a really good week. Obviously, they beat Sheffield Wednesday last weekend, but going to Ipswich away and winning 3-0 and then getting a 90th minute equaliser to draw at Hull, 4 points away from home. You've snapped your hand off for that if you're Charlton. And again, obviously with Hull, they'll be ticking along nicely enough. They're starting to get wins to get confidence going and get themselves up the table. And again, that's another club who's making me look like a muck, because I said they'd go down at the start of the season. So Hull don't listen to Michael Bauer's predictions, basically. And as for Charlton, as I've said, I think you're looking at 4 points away from home. And I think Nathan Jones is really starting to has got Charlton settled into life back in the Championship, I think.
Yep,
so,
100%.
And Charlton, what was it, 19 points from the first 12 games? Yeah. And Hull, in fact, both of them on 19 points first 12 games. Considering Hull were tipped to not do very well at the start of the season, and Charlton had to come up through the playoffs in League One. I think both sets of fans will be very happy with both their starts.
Yeah.
This week, much better point for Charlton in the circumstances, of course, than Hull. But both of them having 7 points in 3 games, they would have taken that a week ago.
Yeah, 100% will take that as well. Fair draw for that, Annie, between two of these teams who have really had a good couple of days.
Yeah, both teams had the opportunity to get 9 point weeks, but yeah, I'd agree with Michael in the circumstances. Late last minute equaliser, probably a better draw for Charlton, but still, it's a fair point. Move on, and it's a point off the back of a good run for both sides, and I'll just point to the fact of who Hull have beaten in this run as well. They've beaten Birmingham, they've beaten Leicester, and they've beaten Sheffield United. So they've beaten some very decent teams, or teams who you would have tipped to be near to the top of the division at the start of the season. So it's a very good run for Hull. They'll be a bit disappointed the way they've conceded that last minute goal, and the fact that would have meant another win. Keep yourselves really sort of pushing, bank those
They'd
points
been in the
early
top
on.
6 had they beaten Charlton, I think.
Probably,
Yeah,
yeah.
it would have been, yes.
Yeah, they would have been. They're 8th at the minute outside the playoffs on goal difference.
So yeah, you want, if you're Charlton or Hull, you want to bank points in in these good moments of the season, don't you? We also fall into that category. So yeah, good point for both sides. Better for Charlton in the circumstances. I'd agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go on to the last couple of games left. We'll get to Bristol City, Sheffield Wednesday, and Bristol City in the last two before we get, we look at the teams at Riverside Stadium. Middlesbrough maintained their unbeaten home record in the Championship after a half-hour draw with Wrexham, drawing 1-1. Josh Windass scored in the 7th minute, and then Hayden Hackney got the equaliser in the 80th minute. He scored his first goal since he scored in the 3-0 win at Millwall in the 6th of August. I think I have to say it looks like Wrexham slowly, after getting their first win at home this past, recently. I think they could have closely got another win, but I think Middlesbrough came back and fought really hard to get that draw, and like I said, keeps the unbeaten home record, keeps the home record unbeaten, guys.
Yeah, Annie, go for it.
Yeah, both teams had some good chances in this game. Ryan Longman produces a really good save from Solbrin. First half, it's Kiefer Moore has a big chance from a header at 1-0, I think. So, yeah, both teams have some big chances. Borough will be disappointed because that would have, on paper, if you looked at Ipswich, Sheffield Wednesday away, and Wrexham, you'd have probably targeted these two games later on as winnable games. They've got 4 points from it, which is still not a bad return, but they would have been a bit disappointed.
You'd have expected the Ipswich to be the draw, wouldn't you? And then these two to be the wins for them, yeah.
But the fact that they've beaten Ipswich, they've done I don't want to say the hard work in the week. They've beaten Ipswich, they've played really well against Ipswich, and they've gone and beaten Sheffield Wednesday. Can you go and take that into the go-home game against Wrexham? But look, Wrexham have been really sort of hard to beat lately. I think they've lost 1 in 8, and they're not conceding that many goals anymore. They've sort of restricted it to one sort of per game. They're conceding as a maximum, so they've become far more sturdy defensively. They've had a good week as well. I want to say 2 draws and a win against Oxford. So look, it's not been a bad return for them either. So this is a very, very good point for Wrexham. Joshua Windass with a bit of a deflected muggy goal, but not particularly bothered, are you? So good point for Wrexham. Okay, Borough rescued it sort of late on-ish, 10 minutes to go, with a good Hackney header, but there will be a sense of disappointment because of opposition you're playing at home. Wrexham are sort of slowly getting better, but especially at the Riverside, you would have wanted them to go and capitalise on what's already been a very decent week. Okay, 7 points from the week is very, very good, but you look at what Coventry are doing, and Middlesbrough are the closest one to them. You want to try and catch them, and 7 points at the moment in a week isn't quite enough to keep pace with Coventry.
No, just I think to be fair, if you're still looking at what Middlesbrough have done, they're above 2 points per game. They're by a point. 2 points a game would have them on 24 points. They're on 25. So you go into the last 10 minutes or last 15 minutes and you're still losing. To get something from the game was important at the very least. And I've said before that the fact they've kept Hayden Hackney, who ended up getting the equaliser. The fact they've kept him is probably one of the best bits of business they could have done in the summer, because obviously there was a lot of speculation around his future, and obviously there was a point when a bid from Ipswich was accepted, wasn't it? So of course he didn't end up going. So yeah, but for Wrexham, like I said, despite conceding in the last 10 minutes, I agree with Annie. I think it's a fantastic point for Wrexham. And I think Wrexham is starting to become acclimatised to the Championship a bit more, because obviously they've been used to winning every single game, pretty much. Okay, not quite to the level Birmingham did last year, but over the last few years, they've probably won 75% of their games, or 2/3 of their games at least. So I did think it was always going to take a bit of a bedding in period for them to get used to the intensity and pace of the Championship. But I think they're gradually starting to do it. Getting the first home win off the bat was really important for them. So I think, again, I've mentioned this quite a few times tonight, but like sort of steadily building, steadily rising up the league, and then see what's possible from there. But for Borough, at least this point still helps keep them 2 points above third.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, agreed. It keeps them consistent, even though they're 3 points behind Coventry. But like I said, they're gonna have to do better, especially against the teams like Wrexham at home this season as well. Not too little. Let's at least got about 4 games left to go. Let's go on to the new den, and 4
Well,
wins.
it is a new den, considering Millwall have started winning again there.
Yeah, 4 wins from 4 for Millwall. That's the first time they've won 4 consecutive victories since last November. After a 1-0 win against Leicester City, Femi Aziz, who's been on good form, he's now scored in his last 4 games. He's been, he's had a good start to the season as well. If Ant was here, he would be. We know he's frustrated. He's not been happy at all, especially with Leicester's shit start.
What do you mean? He is here.
I'm pretending to have a social life tonight. Sorry.
through voice messaging. Yes, of course.
He's verbally with us in spirit.
He's probably with us, but he's not virtually with us. That's all.
No.
But as I said, it's like I said, Millwall stays third, and they're now 2 points behind Middlesbrough.
I'll just quickly say this: what a job Alex Neil's doing, by the way. And that's coming from me, by the way. But yeah, at this level, Alex Neil's a very shrewd operator. And I remember the Second Tier podcast said it, and it was a joke, but I actually agree with it. Millwall can't be considered a dark horse because every bloody person's telling us they're going to be a dark horse. So they're not a dark horse because everyone's backing them. But I tell you, Millwall would be a team to watch this season. And remember, they started quite poorly last year and just missed out on the playoffs on the final day at Burnley. So, I think for Millwall, like I said, their issue at the start of the season was more that they were getting wins away from home, but they weren't getting wins at home. Whereas now they've obviously started to address that. And the last couple of wins, they've beaten West Brom, who aren't a bad team. And okay, Leicester aren't performing, but let's not take that away from Millwall. That's a fantastic win for them. So if you're Leicester, however, no wonder Ant's going to have us wanting to have a social life instead of talking about them, I suppose. But yeah, what's that? So I think they who did they play last weekend? Oh no, they drew against Pompey last weekend. And they've lost to Hull and Millwall. So
and they want to get Swansea the week before that.
Sorry?
They want to get Swansea the week before that. Yeah,
I get the impression with Leicester, it was still kind of look. We know with Leicester, there's obviously problems behind the scenes there. There's problems with the points deduction that we keep never hearing if it's going to happen or not, which is still a joke that it's got to this point and it still hasn't been decided, to be honest. But either way, you're looking at Leicester, and I think there is some really good moments in there, but I feel like they're individuals without clicking as a team. Am I being harsh with that, or do you think that's fair?
I think that's a bit more fair than harsh. I think that's what it feels like.
That's fair. It kind of just sort of it feels like it's not sort of a real clear pattern of play at Leicester, which feels a bit weird because Cifuentes is a good gaffer, and it feels like they've got Jordan James, they've got Mavadidi, they've got Fatawu, and they've got these exceptional quality star players that they get in around the box and shoot. And they've scored a lot of those sort of worldy goals this season. Swansea away comes to mind, where Jordan James scores a worldie, Fatawu scores a worldie as well. So they've got quality players, which obviously you've got to be able to use, but you want that to also back up a pretty decent style of play, and maybe that will come with time with Cifuentes, but you also need to see something sort of right now, because Leicester, no disrespect to QPR, much bigger ambitions in the Championship compared to Rangers. So he needs to start things going, get things going. But to be fair, he's had Hull away, which is a hard game at the moment, and Millwall away, which is just a hard game at any point in the Championship season. So you can count yourself a bit unlucky, but the draws, the lack of wins, not ideal from Cifuentes, no.
No.
Just to point out as well, I think that you're looking at Leicester, and I think that he's doing a steady enough job with it, really, without establishing as much of a style of play. But I think, again, I suppose maybe we're underestimating the fact that, with Leicester, Ipswich, and Southampton coming off the back of being bloodied and bruised last year. I don't know whether there is a factor in that, but I do get Annie's point. I think even Pompey have been decent away from home this year, haven't they? So I think, again, with Leicester, I just feel like I'm wanting to see a little bit more from them, really. But it is what it is. I mean, look, even then, despite all of that, there's still how many points off the top six? Is it still 2?
2.
Yeah, so you got. Obviously, they've drawn a fair few games. That's what tends to do it for them. I just get the impression they're kind of relying on Fatawu to be able to just go and score a screamer out of nothing, or James to go and score a screamer out of nothing.
It feels like it's like what Leeds were when they got relegated back in the first season. It was we relied on Rutter and Smithville. It's that scenario again that we deal with it, and they deal with again. It's not surprising.
Yeah,
and I think that's the thing. And I think they're team individuals like what Leeds went through, and I think that's the problem what Leicester's had because they're not really. I think Fatawu could have left this summer, and I think they would have done to invest in the squad to make it as a team. I think if they don't get promoted this season, I think that's what that's now is going to be. They might have to sell the assets to make a team properly that can challenge for promotion next season.
Well, that's because your situation was pretty much that you sold a fair few of the quote-unquote star players, but what you were able to do is that you were built better as a team unit the following season. So heavens by the fact you went from 90 points to 100, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
So despite the sales you made, which is pretty good going, actually, to be fair. So I think with Leicester, and obviously the points deduction thing hanging over them probably doesn't help. I think that obviously, look, the players can't affect that. Obviously, the people at the club can't affect it. But yeah, I think that needs resolving one way or another. I think if they do get a points deduction, give them it, and then they can sort of move on without this hanging over them. So, but yeah, but let's not take it away from Millwall though. Millwall was it 2 points off second place, and with someone like Alex Neil in charge, they've got as good a chance as any. Especially when you look at the teams at the top being, and I remember someone on the highlights. I'm pretty sure said, I can't remember what game it was, that this is the first time in God knows how many years at this stage, the top six has not got one relegated or parachute club within it.
Yeah.
So, and to answer my question from Michael earlier, that's quite interesting, where he says, could the two automatic promotion spots this season could go on to be non-parachute payments teams? I think right now at least one of them will. Both, I'm not sure. It depends. Yeah, well, spoiler, it is Coventry, I'm thinking. But the other one, it all hinges for me if Ipswich click or not, personally for me. If they don't, then yeah, I think it very well could be two, because Leicester, for me, kind of feel like they're plodding along at the moment, rather than... look, obviously, when Maresca was there, for example, 2 years ago, their squad was better than what it is now. So there's still a lot more quality. Well, I say a lot more, that's harsh. There was more quality there, a more expensive quality in there then, but, we'll have to wait and see. But like I said, I think for Leicester, they just need to see a bit more from them. There's been a lot of games where I feel like West Brom away in particular, where I felt they were meh for a lot of the game, but they obviously still, but to be fair, they battled, but obviously they kept plugging and battled and got the point. So I don't know. Like I said, it's just weird this season. And I'm sure Andy's not going to complain where Bristol City are, but it's more the parachute teams, not one of them has done anything remotely like what I expected.
No.
But for competitive nature, that it makes the league more exciting.
Yeah, it certainly does as well. Let's go on to one of the other managers really under pressure. It is Liam Manning at Norwich City.
Can I just sit back and let Annie take this one?
Yeah. Do you know what? Annie, why don't you take over this one?
Swansea City 2, Liam Manning's Norwich 1.
No, look. It's like being a dead man at this point.
Shove your Bristol comments up your arse.
No comment.
I've said it for you.
I've said it before. If anyone wants to hear my thoughts on Liam Manning saying Bristol, anyway, not the point. Look, it's an absolute sort of epitome of where Norwich are at the minute, isn't it? I mean, Swansea don't play great, but they find a way to win, and it feels like even if you're in a game at the minute against Norwich, you'll win it. You'll win it. It's a tight game. You'll win it. No worries. Yeah, because if you don't do anything to win the game, they'll hand you the game. Is what they're doing at the minute. It's an absolute car crash, and just when you think at 1-1, you think, okay, can Norwich now go and kick on? Kenny McLean, their most experienced player, decides to play a blind pass into the middle of the park for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Completely misses Josh Sargent, and I think it's Ohm who gets the ball.
Yeah.
First time ball into Vipotnik. And what are Harry Darling and Jakov Medic doing? God knows. Standing off. If stand off any further, they'll be in Cardiff. It's like actually ridiculous defending, and it's been a theme for a while now. They just can't defend Norwich. Just can't defend, and it's an absolute horror show. The first goal is a cracking finish by Vipotnik. The second goal is also an absolute unbelievable finish. So yes, they have got outdone by two quality finishes by Vipotnik, but
that was his first. He's not found in 86 games until yesterday. So
there you go. Norwich say, "Hold my beer."
Ronald hits the post in the first half, I think, as well. It's a good goal by Makama. Makama and Sargent do well.
Sargent looked pissed off when he went off. I saw. He looked.
Yeah, I saw that.
I think he was ill in the week, wasn't he? So that might have been. So he was ill, quite ill, so he couldn't sort of. Liam Manning came to the conclusion that he couldn't play anymore. So clearly, Josh Sargent might have disagreed. What was also absolutely baffling was Makama and Sargent started as a front two in this game. And what does Liam Manning do at half time? When it's working quite well, he decides to bloody change it. And
He changed it to 4-2-3-1, didn't he?
Apparently, from what I'm hearing, is he changed it to Sargent as the number 9 and Makama and Gibbs as the sort of ones in behind.
Yeah.
Why? Just why? Like, I don't understand that, and that is clearly also pissed off a lot of Norwich fans. It's not like Manning's trying this and it's just not working. He's actively changed what was working at half time effectively. Yeah, okay, Norwich were a bit lucky not to go in 2-1 down because of I think they scored in the first half, didn't they? Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
So it was a bit. It's just confusing, and honestly, Liam Manning's position was untenable probably after they lost against us. He is so dead. He's dead man walking times 10.
Do we expect an announcement from the club, like Doug said, maybe tomorrow or so from Ben Napper?
If not tomorrow, I would be surprised if he's there come the next international break.
Yeah.
I might waffle here, so bear with me. If Ben Napper decides to sack Liam Manning, he's effectively sacking himself. That's one. We've not heard anything from sort of internally at Norwich that might suggest Manning's going to get sacked. And I think Norwich owner Mike Atenasio's coming in on Thursday for a sort of...
Is it a live canary call or something? Like BBC Radio Norfolk or something?
Something like that.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, that has. Yeah, because especially now because of his MLB team, Major Baseball teams is not well. Yeah.
Would you be surprised if that didn't go ahead now, though?
If Manning gets sacked, that will not. You'd presume that won't happen, right?
Yeah, you would imagine.
That would be cancelled after that changes. Yeah.
So I'm assuming that Manning's gonna stay in charge. There might be a sentiment at Norwich that because of the injuries they have, and yes, they do have injuries. Pape Diallo, Chris Gordon, who's back now. He came off the bench against Swansea. Ben Crescene, who's out injured as well. Who's that? Jose Cordoba. He's out injured as well. So they have got injuries. Norwich, yes, but the quality is there. They are not 23rd level worth of quality. They've spent £55 million in 2 summers. Like Christ, that is ridiculous for Championship standards. Yes, and I also do accept the sentiment that they have sold a lot of quality in that as well, and they've lost a lot of quality as a result, which sometimes people forget. They just look at the cash and not actually what they've lost and the profile they've lost.
Yeah.
Marcelino Nunez, but he should be getting better out of that squad, Liam Manning, and
Especially when you've got Sargent up top as well.
yeah, and Norwich City, in my opinion, are effectively stuck between a rock and a hard place, where the sporting director will not probably sack the manager because he might as well hand in his own P45 at that point.
Yeah.
And in the middle of the season, is Mike Atanasio going to go, right, I'm going to sack the sporting director and I'm going to sack the manager with January transfer window in about 2 months' time?
That's gonna be the interesting question of when they have the talks later this week when Manny and Mike Aseno will speak, because that is going to be the interesting part where they have that discussion between them internally. We keep an eye on that. Before we get back onto the show next weekend about that, because you could say it's untenable, but it's especially when Ben Knapp has had so much power. It's like when you have that power for so long, you don't, how do you use it? And then once you use it, it's out of your hands in a way, but you still want to cling on to it no matter what. It's like, it's my fault, but I'll blame it on someone else. Then it's not, yeah.
The thing I find interesting about this, because I'm looking at Norwich's next 3 games before the international break. So bear in mind, what's particularly embarrassing is their home record. They have not even picked up a point at home, let alone a win. So Hull travel to Carrow Road on Saturday. Lunchtime kickoff if anyone wants to watch it, 12:30. Then the one after that is the one that's interesting. They are facing the only team that is below them. They're facing Sheffield Wednesday at Hillsborough. Now, bear in mind, Sheffield Wednesday, they are bottom at the moment, but say at the moment they're probably going to be bottom at the end of the season. But Sheffield Wednesday probably feel like a cloud's been lifted to some degree. That might be a harder game than what I think. And I think for Norwich fans, I think they'll probably feel it's going to be an extremely hard game. So there's that one, and then they have Leicester right before the international break at Carrow Road. So, all right, let me ask you this then: do you think Liam Manning will be there for the next 3 games? I have a feeling, unless something drastically changes, he will be.
I think if the owner's doing his live call at Radio Norfolk, then yes, he'll still be there for the next 3 games. If he's cancelled at the last minute, then I think he'll be.
Well, unless they go on air and go, oh, by the way, very quickly, just to inform everyone that Liam Manning's sacked now. So cheers, we don't need to put out a club statement. We'll put it out on here instead.
I think he's going to be given that next 3 game batch, and they're going to delay the inevitable. They're going to delay just sacking him, because I think it is international break again, isn't it, after this 3 game week?
Yes, it's the last one. So
if you're going to get rid of him, that's the time to do it, really, when you've got 2 weeks to sort of plan and get somebody else in.
Well, it felt like this was a good time to this week now would be a decent time to
against the clubs that you've been playing against the year before this.
And maybe you get a new manager bounce against Hull, Sheffield Wednesday, and Leicester. So that maybe, but I'm not seeing anything from Norwich at the minute suggesting they're going to improve. It's not like they're playing. It's not like they're playing well and losing, or we're seeing something from them style-wise.
There's no performance to latch on to with Norwich at the minute, is there?
They're
no good ones. Sorry,
they're hopeless defensively. The team's lacking confidence. The absolute shambolic nature of the couple of goals they've conceded recently just boggles the mind. Every tight margin is seemingly going against them, and that can be a sign of unluck, like a lack of luck. That can also be a sign, which is what I'd go with. Also a sign of just a completely inept team that just can't win football games, and that's what Norwich are at the minute. I think they've lost 5 in a row, not got even a single point at Carrow Road this season. What an absolutely pathetic state of affairs. Like, I don't use sort of that terminology often, but this is Norwich City in the Championship. For goodness sake, this is This is a club that should be right near the top of the championship.
Stripper club. They don't need to be back anywhere near the Premier League. Let me tell you that one. So,
but in the championship, they are powerhouses. They are absolute. They should be in the top 6 pretty much on all occasions. They have also backed up that sort of expectation club-wise with heavy spending, and we're still sat here talking about a lack of creativity, a squad that's not good enough, maybe. I don't know how we've got to this point with Norwich, quite honestly.
No, absolutely. Let's move on, like Michael mentioned about Sheffield Wednesday, and for the first time in probably a decade, it felt like fans, even though Sheffield Wednesday lost to Oxford United 2-1 yesterday, but for the first time ever, it felt like the fans have got their club back after a decade of so much tripe from Delta Janziri.
That's a polite version.
Hey, I could have come a lot worse than that.
Yeah.
Let me tell you that one. And as a Leeds fan, even though I don't like Sheffield Wednesday, but the rivals, but I didn't want to see that club die in a big club like that. And finally, yes, until Friday, they're now Sheffield Wednesday are now administration and now have immediate top of deduction. But for the first time, there was a full crowd of over 27,000 fans getting to the ground. And it felt, Michael, this was such a for the first time, it felt so a weight off their shoulders after so much shit they've had to put through with Chadziri, especially now the administrators have come in and said, look, if you're not going to sell we're going to, you're close to getting a wind-up petition where you could be liquidated. They've come in now. The fans are now starting to rip up the Chadziri name off seat from the cost of the seat in the stands as well.
The amount of views that got.
Yeah. And to quite honest, it feels like the fans have got their club back first time when the boycott campaign has been so much effective, where they're not putting money into the club with like from the store to the tickets to everything. They kept their ground and they felt like they won the battle.
Yes. Before we quickly talk about Sheffield Wednesday, we've got to mention this is an important win for Oxford. Just to sort of say that.
Yeah.
So sorry if there's any Oxford fans watching this. Obviously, the main talking point is on Sheffield Wednesday. But yeah, for them, it was good to get them into a 2-0 lead before half time. And obviously, it's not an easy game, this, because Sheffield Wednesday would have had despite the points deduction, despite going into administration, the atmosphere was, dare I say, for the circumstances, it was kind of raucous to some degree. And I think, for want of a better word, so for Oxford, it was really important to come out of that with a win. For their own survival chances. So just to get out of there. So fair play to Oxford, well done for that. And actually, it was good to respond from the defeat against Wrexham to get something get a win at Sheffield Wednesday. Right, yes, Sheffield Wednesday. But like I said, it's been becoming it might as well have become a bingo card, really, for the amount of times we've probably talked about Sheffield Wednesday under Chansiri. And like Annie mentioned about Norwich, and he's right, I view Sheffield Wednesday for different reasons as a club that should be, if they're ran well, competing to go to the Premier League.
Yeah.
For me, they are a big enough club to obviously, if ran competently, they should be able to attract players to help them do that. And Chansiri at the start, to be fair to him, did spend money. He did, but it was the classic irresponsible owner thing of, let's throw everything at it, let's throw all the money at it, and then when that doesn't work, it goes back to the other extreme of not wanting to do anything.
Yeah, that first 2 seasons when they missed out after holding the playoff final, and then they got knocked.
Exactly.
Lost the eventual winners, Huddersfield, the season after. And then since then they
just
got
been downhill ever since, hasn't it?
Yeah, to get to League One during COVID, and and they've been back and forth between the 2 leagues.
Well, exactly. So I think the big thing for me is, and it shouldn't have to come to this. They shouldn't have to choose between one or the other. But I think if you said to Sheffield Wednesday fans at the start of the season, you'll go down, but through one means or another, Chansiri will not be there at the end of the season, and obviously, we have to remember they have to find the right owner. You have to, because it's very easy to get rid of just Chansiri, but they need to find someone.
I said that to Reece yesterday. Be careful. He said to be careful what you wish for. Of the way, and he's right.
But I think this was the case where it was so poisonously, untenably toxic that I think something had to change. And I think that, so from Sheffield Wednesday, look, obviously, of course, it's not nice to see them get the minus 12 points, but we knew that was pretty much likely to happen. And if we're honest, they were probably going to go down regardless of that. There's a good chance they would. You never know. Obviously, without that, they would have still. Well, without that, there would have been 4 points adrift of safety, which with 3/4 of the season left. could have been mathematically overturned. But a lot of things were going against Sheffield Wednesday. More stories were coming out every week about, once again, players and staff not being paid. And as we know, the people that we really felt for the non-playing side of things at the club, where those staff that need the money to survive. Well, I say survive, it's maybe a dramatic, but you know what I mean. It's like they need, it felt to some degree like a cloud's been lifted. And look, I've got a big soft spot for Sheffield Wednesday because I've said ever since we beat them in the League One playoffs 3.5 years ago under Alex Neil, they were incredibly gracious in defeat minutes after we knocked them out and condemned them to another year in League One, which I wouldn't wish on anybody, except maybe Newcastle United. But apart from that, Sheffield Wednesday, obviously, I think he would have offered that. I think they would take being competitive in League One, even for 1 or 2 years, as long as they have the new owners settle in and bring a bit of vibe back to the place. You're looking at Hillsborough; it's looking neglected. It's looking completely
neglected.
It's just looking absolutely horrendous for a club of that stature. The fan base, obviously, Chansiri was mocking the fans. He was, alienating the fans more and more every time he opened his stupid mouth. It's something that I think even when you get someone like Carl, obviously, who is Leeds and Sheffield Wednesday, there's no love lost between them. But when it gets to a point when even Carl's saying the things he is, that's how you know it's bad. That's how you know it got to a point when it was poisonously terrible. So for the first time ever, it felt to some degree like a cloud's been lifted. And yes, it's come at the expense of pretty much confirming relegation, more or less, even though it's this early. But I think, to be honest, the main thing for Sheffield Wednesday fans was to make sure they actually had a club with a future and to make sure they had someone who actually gives a shit about them instead of just making it Defon Chansiri FC, basically. And obviously there's been plenty of sponsorships on Sheffield Wednesday shirts in the last number of years.
The taxis that he advertising on the
exactly.
stand, everything. It's just
it's not Chansiri's own personal advertising company. It's meant to be a really big, proud, historic football club, and I think that it was great to see the atmosphere yesterday. Even just from the clips I did see, it looked more raucous than ever. And even like the amount of views on Twitter that the seat removal got, which shows you how passionate. And I believe that was done from staff at Sheffield Wednesday.
It was, yeah.
So that says how
less
bad.
than an hour after they decide, let's get our shit in there and get this.
Let's remove that
of our stands right
let's remove
now.
that Chancer's name from the seat. So exactly. So look. Obviously, I think the rest of this season...
I love how they did the mock-up of the virus, like the Chansiri XAE, let's remove it,
Yeah, exactly.
That was a good dig. That was,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, I remember that, yeah. No, the advertising board, that was brilliant. So, yeah, I love that sort of stuff. But, yeah, I think you guys will agree with this. The main thing for Sheffield Wednesday is to find the right owner. That's the aim for this season. Get through the next few months because fans will start paying for food at the ground. They'll start buying shirts. They'll buy merchandise. They'll spend more money on tickets or whatever
to help the non-paying staff.
Exactly.
The non-playing staff.
Exactly. So that will hopefully help run Sheffield Wednesday for the foreseeable future. And then once they have an owner hopefully lined up by the end of the season, preferably, hopefully, someone who can actually sort of say, right, okay, we know we're going down. We're going to have a rebuild, and we'll make sure to build a club that's going to be proud again. And actually, in the long run, this could be good for them if they ran well, because it might go down, build camaraderie, build morale back up again, and say if they go down, then come back up under new ownership. Don't be surprised to see Sheffield Wednesday be much more competitive in the next couple of years if they go down and come back up again. But as far as this season, look, the game yesterday kind of felt like a bit of a not sideshow because that's disrespectful to Oxford. It was a big game for them, but it felt like the secondary sort of thing from a Sheffield Wednesday perspective. So it's great to see that they, at the very least for the first time, could probably have something to smile about as much as you can do with administration. And yeah, thank God it looks like the reign of that poisonous bellend, to put it frankly,
bastard,
is coming to an end really. So I think, yeah, fair play to them. They're a fan base that's gone through a lot and deserves so much better than what they have done. So sorry, Andy, go on. If you want to say anything, go for it.
Can't really beat that. I do really feel for the people who are going to be affected by this administration, because unfortunately there will be small businesses who, the vast majority of their income will come from Sheffield Wednesday, who will not get repaid the money that Chansiri owes them, and unfortunately that's just going to be an effect from the administrators, and seriously just feel for them. But for Sheffield Wednesday, what a sort of it's a defiance, and it's a sort of it shows how strong that particular fan base is, and we know they're
That part of Sheffield is strong. If you lose a football club in one city, the whole city gets affected no matter what. It's that rivalry is so huge for not just for the fans, but the whole city itself.
yeah, exactly. Look, I don't. No one really expected Sheffield Wednesday to be particularly competitive this season,
No.
and now that they're on -6, it's just going to be 50 times harder. But look, you never know. Try and push as close as possible. There'll be that siege mentality. Especially Hillsborough now, fans are coming back into Hillsborough. You never know. They could pull out a few surprise results and shock a few teams, and it certainly will not be as easy going to Hillsborough now from now on than it was for these first 12 games of the season. So good news, bad news for Wednesday, but generally good news considering Jan series gone, which is the big thing.
It's as good as it's as good as an administration and points deduction could be.
Dan gone in and then be liquidated and everything. You just lose. You lose.
Yeah, they were very close to being liquidated, apparently, weren't they?
Yeah, very very close. Because Chansey was fucking refusing to sell. I'm like, I want most of the money back. But it's not. If you care about the club, sell it for the reduced value. Don't piss about. And he only did was piss about because he think he could hold on, but he knew the administration was going to come in and he will lose his power.
Well, exactly. And think of it this way: he's lost himself even a fair bit of money in the process, hasn't he? If you look at it from a purely selfish point of view, he could have at the very least and he would never have never seen positively in Sheffield Wednesday fans' eyes, which is what makes me convinced he was holding on to it just to annoy the fans.
What you need to do? Focus on fucking selling John West canned tuna going forward now and then the club.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to. For me, the one thing he could have done was he could have sold it, even at a significantly reduced price. Everything else, he could have sold it for that, and at the very least, have had this happen with this takeover without administration, without a points deduction. But he didn't. He chose to make it about himself. Yeah. And that, for me, is whatever his reasons were for that, I have no idea. No idea. But, I don't know if he's got debts in other parts of his life and he feels if he get the money from
Sheffield. He's got no debts. He has
not well aware of them.
No, yeah. He's got no debts. For whatever, he's well off. He's well off, and especially, he's selling. His family controls of seafood, canned tuna across the fucking globe. So he's the
right. Well, I retract that then. In which case, that is it's just a disgrace from him. It's an absolute disgrace, and I think not even just for the fact of everything he's done with everything that hasn't been done in terms of a sale. But if you look at it this way, he's effectively ruining the lives of non-playing staff, playing staff as well, but especially non-playing staff at the club, like Annie said, who have been owed so much money in terms of wages from him and it's not a new thing. This has been going on for well over a year now. So, they're much worse off when times are hard anyway. And he could have prevented all of that through accepting an offer, even if it was much less than he wanted to. If he had not made it about himself, he could have had at least some level of respect from Sheffield Wednesday fans. But he's brought this on himself, and I think it's safe to say no one feels any sympathy for Chansiri. He could have easily gone out on at the very least on semi-respectable terms, but he hasn't. So, like I said, administration's hard, but hopefully through this, it's a new beginning for Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, it
is. A good one.
And actually, that tribute to Milan Mandzukic finally came because I think he there was no tribute before he took away the club from him in the administration. There was no tribute to Milan Mandzukic at all, and that just said it all completely over the lack of respect that disrespect he had, not just to the Mandzukic family, but to every single Sheffield Wednesday fan, player, non-playing staff. It was so much disrespect completely. Absolutely. It really was.
Yeah, I think you underestimate how much of a livelihood it is.
Especially in a state like Sheffield. Come on, even I'm from fucking Sheffield. Sheffield is vital over than Leeds in the part of Yorkshire. Without that football, what is it? Where does Sheffield? If someone can get that club right for Sheffield Wednesday, not only that club can grow again, but the city can grow again. if the two teams can compete properly and try to fight its way back to the Premier League at some point in years to come, then you can see what's happened to Birmingham City at the moment, what they're trying to do. They're trying to get that city back together of becoming that as a revenue, not just for the for the football club, but for the whole city and the whole country.
Exactly. And even then, if you look at it, like I've said, I think is it like 25 years or so since Sheffield Wednesday were last in the Premier League?
2002, 99, 2000, yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. So I think it just says everything that, like, you're right. I think, and especially for Sheffield Wednesday with how big they are, that like as you guys know, like it's like the same to make it not make it about us too much at the minute. But look how Sunderland are doing in the Premier League. Look how Leeds have competed. When you get momentum with the club, it's hard to stop. And I think Sheffield Wednesday have the potential for that. But but the main thing from this saga, Chansiri's reign's over, and no sympathy for the guy whatsoever. He brought all of this stuff on himself.
No, absolutely not. Let's finish off on a positive note. And Annie, I'll let you take over the Bristol City winning 1-0 against Birmingham City.
9-point week.
Yeah, 9-point week, and God, we sort of suffered and gritted our way through that, but win is a win in the Championship, and we sort of outdid Birmingham. I think we neutralised pretty much every single thing they had to throw at us and never really looked under too much threat, which is probably the best way I can describe how we defended and how we played. Brilliant defensive rearguard performance from us. We've got two big bulking centre-backs in Rob Atkinson and Rob Dickey. Then you've got George Tanner in there, who's also very competent defensively, and then you've got Zach Viner, who's normally a defender playing in midfield because of our injury problems, and then you've got two wing-backs who can tuck in and do very well. We defended very well. Birmingham, possession for possession's sake, I thought yesterday never really threatened us, and every time they did sort of mildly threaten us, it was getting the ball down the left-hand side or right-hand side, down the wings, whipping balls into the box fast, into dangerous areas. Damari Gray did that once and looked threatening. Cochrane did it a couple of times and it was a bit of a threat. Kumas did it once. Basically, they didn't do it enough, and every time Birmingham looked mildly threatening, it was from a set piece, and they just didn't threaten us in open play. Special shout out to Sinclair Armstrong, who 11 months without a goal, and he's obviously not been our number one starting striker this season. We've got Emil Rees, but there's been massive question marks over him and Fally Muyulu, who interesting appearance yesterday. I'll put it at that. He's been getting a lot of flack. There's been so much discussion and talk about him, and we signed Emil Rees this summer, and it was okay. It's Emil Rees, and it's whoever's game for number 2. Rees is injured, hopefully not for too long. Hopefully he should be back for Stoke next weekend. But it's nice that Sinclair has scored. It's nice that he's got on the score sheet. And it was just very Championship from us. And honestly, I love it. Love it. Because I'm normally sitting here on the end of a 1-0 loss, either at home or most normally at home, and talking about we've had 70% possession. We've had this many shots. We can't put the ball in the back of the net, and we've lost 1-0 to a counter-attack. So, honestly, good. I love it. I love it that we've S-housed a bit of a win. We've had one shot on target, and I think we had 5 shots or 6 shots all game, and we find a way to win. You've got to find ways in the Championship. Yeah, I don't want us to play like that every game, especially at Ashton Gate. Absolutely not. But when you've got a Birmingham side who like to play on the ball, and they're all very neat, pretty patterns, give it to Doyle, give it to Pack, give it to Anderson, give it to Kumas, fullback tucks inside, recycle, rotate, all very fluid, all very pretty. Where's the big chance at the end of it? Where is the big chance at the end of it? And I thought we were far more efficient. We didn't need a lot of the ball. Got on the counter attack, scored. Used the big fast centre forward to get in behind Phil Newman after a big marauding run from our centre back. It's just a typical typical win in the Championship that you need to pull off sometimes, and we did that. And so far this season, we've shown we can win in quite a few different ways. Start of the season, we scored goals. Sheffield United away, Hull at home, whilst being a little bit sort of defensively hapless, for a better word. But we've got much better defensively. That's 2 clean sheets and 3. Obviously, Southampton at home we conceded, but scored 3 against them. So we've shown we can win in different ways in this season, and that is really, really good to see. Apart from compared to last season, where pretty much all the wins came at home, and it was a lot of tight games. We got on the good side of 2-1s, a lot of 2-1s, a couple of sort of bigger margins in there, but it's nice to know that we can sort of flip our game quite dramatically, and it will still not bother us too much. And we are doing all of this with one central midfielder fit, our captain's out, our captain and our best player, Jason Knight, is out. No Max Bird, no Joe Williams, no Emil Reese yesterday as well. No Luke McNally, no Camp Ring, no Max O'Leary. Max O'Leary's back, so the last couple of games, so I'll take that back. So that's a lot. That's a lot of players that, in my opinion, have got a real, shout for the starting 11 that we've pretty much not had all season, really. Knight, we've had with our first couple of games, but apart from that, we've not had a lot of these players all season. So the fact that we're winning and we're going to get better with the squad depth, love it. And I think we might have a conversation about this maybe off air, but the Championship is so open. It is so open this year. None of the parachute teams look like they're anywhere near it. Millwall a third, Middlesbrough a second, Coventry a first, which is not that much of a shock, but they're still, motoring on. There is some real there's a real chance for someone like us who finished 6th last year, won a ton of games, really good at home, kept a lot of and I've mentioned this before on this very channel, kept a lot of the same players that got us into the playoffs, and I say got better. Yes, at the moment we're probably not better on paper because of injuries, but in December time, once we get those players back, we will look a lot stronger. Struber looks like he's some sort of tactical genius that can flip a game like that. He's not afraid to change it, unlike Liam Manning last season. He looks like a very good fit. It looks like a very good team, and I'm not getting carried away. Honestly, I'm not nowhere near that stage, but the fact that we're 4th, the fact that we're 12 games in, we've got 22 points, and we've just got a 9-point week. And look who we've beaten as well. Look who we've beaten. We've beaten Norwich away. Okay, everyone's winning at Norwich. Beaten Southampton at home. Year 1 parachute team. Good win. And we've who did we beat? We beat Birmingham. So it's not easy games on paper. If you'd have told me at the start of the season, I'd have gone, oh, that is a nasty looking week. Come out of it at 9 points. We're in every game this season. We look competitive. We always look competitive. And we've got some seriously good attacking players now to get on the end of it as well. So I'm not saying we're going to be in some sort of automatic promotion chasing sort of candidates. I'm not saying that in the slightest. But we look good. And I think you'd be silly to sort of see us as, they'll be mid-table. I think you'd be silly to write us off.
Let's just say that I think, well done to Liam for walking away from Bristol. There you go. There's that one. I'll get that digging for Annie. But also at the same time, it'd be quite funny if, say, and I know this probably, well, I expect Annie's probably going to shoot this down. But just imagine for a second, the top 2 is Coventry, Bristol City. And it would be quite funny if the teams that finished 5th and 6th in the playoffs last season were the top 2 this season. It would actually be quite something to think about. But yeah.
Quite fitting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, keep yourself in the mix. That's all you can do at the minute. And if you're not going to get top 2, make sure you at least keep yourself in the hunt for playoffs. So there you go. Well done, Liam.
Bank those points early on.
You should have said, thanks, Liam, to everyone concerned with Bristol.
That went well.
Yep.
Well.
Was it like things that precede unfortunate events?
Yeah.
Just finally, sorry, on the game yesterday, if you are a neutral and you've looked at the stats and you've kind of gone, and you've just kind of made your opinion based on the stats, you look at it and you'll go, Birmingham, 70-something% possession, more chances. Momentum graph will say they've been better. XG will say they've been better. I'm looking at. I genuinely am trying to remember. I do not think they had one big clear cut chance.
No.
Whole of the game. Kyogo had a shot blocked, which is kind of a set piece, and they kind of bobbled to Kyogo and he hit one. Apart from that, I cannot remember a single Birmingham chance that was, I'd class as they should have taken that. They should have scored that. I can't remember.
And then Maheti just bumped their heads against each other.
Yeah. So basically, for anyone that hasn't seen it, Armstrong's gone down injured or something's happened. A referee bent down to look at Sinclair Armstrong, and to his left, so my right, and a little bit behind, so out of the referee's eye line, but very much in the linesman's eye line. Mehmeti and Iwata sort of as you said, bumped into each other. And then Mehmeti very, very cleverly decides to take a fat swing at Tomoki Iwata and decides that's the best course of action. Gets away with murder. Thankfully, thankfully the referee didn't see it. If the linesman has seen it, I have no idea why he's not given a red card. I genuinely do not know. And I think very, very clear, and I think very, very reasonably, Birmingham players were perplexed as to why that wasn't given as a red card, because he's just got swiped at him fully, it's not even a
casually swiped.
It's not like they've sort of locked heads and they've sort of been pushed away. In which case, it's all a bit fun and games, and they both move on. He's just decided to take a swipe there. I have no idea why he's done that, Anis. It's really, really silly. Hopefully, we've sort of addressed that, and Mehmeti, if he even
You're lucky you got away because if you were playing if it was Scottish football, the referee they do review it after they missed that. They was like, yeah, you're bad for it.
Thank the Lord that VAR is not in the Championship yet.
No,
you might have it next season.
Even without VAR in Scottish football, no matter what, there's a 3-man panel will look at those incidents. If it's been missed by VAR and all that stuff, they were like, yeah.
But yeah, Alice is incredibly lucky that he's not been looked at and probably been sent off. Would it have mattered? Would Birmingham have then magically decided to go and start putting balls into the box with more regular frequency? Probably not. But whatever. We've got away with one there. Yeah, for sure.
All right then. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much as we offer this weekend of doing all this review. Let's look at the tables at the moment as well. So you see here that Coventry are still top of the table with unbeaten run. They're now 3 points ahead of Middlesbrough. Mill are now up into third by only 2 points behind Borough. Bristol City, Stoke, and Charlton. Bristol Stoke with all teams won it in the top 6 over than Charlton, and getting a draw which moves them up a bit. Preston are now behind them in 7th for Horne. Hull 8th and 9th, and Cooper a 9th along with Leicester City 10th. At the bottom of the table, you see there Sheffield Wednesday now on -6 points from their 12-point deduction. With Norwich City now with now losing 5 games on the trot. With Sheffield United dropped down into 20 back into the bottom 3. With Blackburn was the only team that the only team in the bottom. Other than Oxford United getting the win. So yeah, it's a lot. It's like I said, did not expect to start this championship season as being quite very interesting. We didn't expect this was going to be as it is, but
do you think the best way to end this is the comment from Luke?
Yes.
Commented?
Well, that is the best way
from Luke. Support.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Luke. Yeah, I know you are top of the league, and I think that's probably the best comment to end the show. And this is actually my last show as an unemployed from tonight. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to being, like I said, starting a new job tomorrow. So, that's going to be life-changing and doing all that stuff again. Go through all the, make sure everything's done right. But I think I'll be all right tomorrow anyway. But as I said, I'll be on with Doug tomorrow evening to do the 20 podcast to pre-record, and you hear Michael's review of the Chelsea-Sunderland game as well. His take on the Sunderland's end perspective. We should have that on by Tuesday evening before 7 o'clock, before the Carabao Cup games coming up as well. And also we am back here to do the Saturday show next Saturday at 11 a.m. here on the Total Level Football Podcast. And also we're back here with these guys again to do the championship review at the same time at 8 p.m. as well here as well. So thank you very much to Michael, to Annie. I'll see you guys at the same time next week. I hope everyone has a good week as well. We'll see you guys next Sunday. Take it for now. It's goodbye from me and from these two as well. Bye-bye.
See ya.